The hype around Anthony Edwards has been insane, and people are starting to actually compare him with Michael Jordan. That might seem crazy at first, but there are actual reasons why they might have a point. Kobe was known for modeling his game after MJ, so could Anthony Edwards be doing the same? Let's do an analysis and compare them to see if Ant could actually be the next Michael Jordan. Let's go straight to MJ and Ant comparison. When people stated that Anthony Edwards reminded them of Michael Jordan, everyone nodded like, yes, there might be something there. As more and more points were being made, everyone realized it's not just their game is alike, but their physical appearance as well. If you take a look at MJ from his first NBA seasons, you can see how almost identical he looks to Ant. From a business point of view, this could be huge for the NBA. Michael was one of the globally most popular athletes while he was playing, and today you couldn't imagine modern sports culture without his brand. It's no surprise all the media recognized the marketing potential and started making all kinds of special videos highlighting anything that supports the argument Edwards is the next Jordan, which isn't a bad thing at all, since they might be close to being right. Even MJ praised Edwards according to sports analyst Chris Broussard, saying he also sees the similarities between them. If that doesn't strengthen their case, nothing else can. We know how Michael was very hard on both himself and his teammates, so his praise doesn't come without being earned. Regardless what you think of today's sports media, Chris has very good reputation within the NBA circles, so there's no reason to believe he lied about the text message from MJ. It would have been so easy for Michael to come out and deny the claims, which he didn't do, telling us everything we need to know. And it's not just about the text message. If you were a global phenom and didn't agree to someone comparing you to some up-and-coming kid, you'd probably be loud about it. All of this indicates Mike is fully on board with such comments, which tells us we're not doing basketball blasphemy when saying Ant is the next him. If we take their offensive game for start, the resemblance is obvious. Every single move Edwards does takes us back to the 80s when young Michael was trying to pave his way through the East. The context was almost the same. He was in the middle of a generational torch passing, playing against Bird and Isaiah Thomas, just like Ant is with KD, LeBron, and Steph going into their last years. Jordan witnessed Bird's and Isaiah's primes. In his fourth year, Mike got beat in the second round by the Pistons, who would go on to beat Larry's Celtics and lose to Magic's and Kareem's Lakers in no less than 7 games. In his fourth year, Ant has already swept one of the legends of the previous era, is on the path to eliminate the reigning champs and establish himself as the leader of this generation by going against either Shea, Luka, or even Tatum if the Wolves reach the finals. What aids him in that quest is his defensive tenacity that Jordan was also known for. Once he felt the gears needed to be shifted, you could just see the change in how he stalked players down the court. Edwards has that same instinct in him, making him one of the most valuable guards in the league. If you take a look at Brunson, Halliburton, and other flashy guards, their flaws are usually tied to their defense. Ant looks like he would bite the ear of your center if it was necessary. And that kind of defensive mentality is all that matters once the playoffs begin. We know Jordan is one of few guards who ever won Defensive Player of the Year award, which is an amazing accomplishment. It will be tough for guards to win the Defensive Player of the Year award now that Wemby is in the league. But that won't stop Edwards from playing defense like a hungry wolf. We can say both Ant and Jordan are great defenders just by looking at who they had to defend. Jordan had Bird, Thomas, Magic, Gary Payton, Reggie Miller, and John Stockton, while Ant's guarding Luka, Shea, Murray, Tatum, Curry, and so many other offensive killers. Regardless of the era, NBA superstars are on another planet when it comes to offensive skills, so stopping them requires nothing less than an incredible defensive effort. If you add heart and passion to that, you have a recipe for doing the thing Ant is doing right now. It probably wouldn't be fair to give defensive credits only to MJ and Edwards. Yes, their performances speak for themselves. But what also complements their styles are their teammates. Both of them were surrounded by help that not only supported their defensive efforts, but enhanced it. Just as Jordan wouldn't be the same without Pippen and Rodman, so wouldn't be Edwards without Cat, Rudy, Reed, and we must point out Mike Conley, who has been perfectly playing a veteran role for the young Wolves. Speaking of veterans, there's one often compared to MJ, but the media and the rest of the world deny him the resemblance. LeBron has been the face of the league for so long, but yet anytime someone wanted to crown him with the GOAT title, Michael's name would follow him, just like he did to people on his chase downs. Ant has managed to do something LeBron still hasn't after 20 years in the league, to be called the next Michael Jordan. It's true that people aren't comparing their accomplishments, but their playing styles instead. But come on, in year 4, LeBron took that awful Cavs team to the finals, which is something many people overlook when criticizing his finals record. Jordan has created such a mystic aura that not even 40,000 points, 4 titles, 3-1 finals comeback, 4 MVPs, 4 finals MVPs, and 20 all-star selections are not enough to shake his throne. The biggest reason for that, and the biggest critic directed towards LeBron, was leadership. Michael didn't leave the Bulls to form super teams, and stuck through despite being punched in the gut by the Pistons many times. In his year 7, MJ took revenge by beating Pistons in the Eastern Finals, and then went on to defeat the Lakers for Chicago's first title ever. LeBron's year 7 remains known for losing to Boston and taking his talents to South Beach. It's true we still haven't seen Ant's year 7, but judging by what we're looking at right now, he has that genes. He has that leader-of-the-pack mentality that makes him a winner. If you take a look at the post-game press conference, Cat is the one looking like a rookie next to him. These playoffs will definitely be a huge milestone for Minnesota as a franchise, and this roster as a potentially championship-winning squad. Ant was great in first 2 games against Denver, hitting all kinds of shots and playing suffocating defense. Some of his moves were actually so Jordan-like that this entire media conversation might make sense. Some of the drives he made were double-clutch just the same as Mike's, and fadeaway shots after taking a bump from the defender require no explanation. The Nuggets are in trouble if nothing significant changes in Game 3 and 4, since Minnesota will have the support of their home crowd. Take a second to remember all the hype moments from first 2 games. Imagine that happening and having your arena erupt. If Ant can channel the same energy for 2 more games, it's game over. We don't want to jump ahead of the Nuggets, but if the Wolves reach the conference finals, their matchup against either OKC or Dallas would be lit. If Edwards carries the franchise to their first NBA Finals appearance, he'll be considered godlike in Minnesota. They might have had some bad draft decisions in the past, but taking him back in 2020 was the best thing they could have done for their organization. Also, they were smart enough to lock him in after his rookie contract, so Ant will be a Wolf until the end of 28 to 29 season. This might sound every crazier when you think about the fact he'll be only 28 after his current contract is up. Minnesota could become one of the most feared franchises in next 3 to 5 years, if not already. And let's say they win it all this year. Who could argue they couldn't win 1 or 2 more titles in the near future carried by their freshly acquired confidence? That's a lot of pressure to put on a 22-year-old's shoulders, but he seems to be handling it well for now, and even enjoying it. If someone was to say back in 1984 that number 3 pick from Chicago would one day become a basketball god, sports media would probably say something like, "He's good, but let's not jump ahead of ourselves." Imagine if Minnesota ends up with 6 titles and 2 three-peats. Crazy, right? But at the beginning of year 990, the Bulls had 0 finals appearances and 0 titles. 8 years later, they became iconic. That's pretty much the same thing that could be happening right now. So we should just let Ant do his thing and enjoy the show he's putting on for us, as he's one of the many reasons this year's playoffs have been so fun to watch. That's it for today. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Feel free to tell us what you think of Anthony Edwards in the comments below. And make sure to hit that subscribe button to keep up with this year's playoffs. Peace out.